All right, let's jump right into this. We all know that enterprise software spend is, well, a huge chunk of the budget. But the thing is, it never really spikes overnight, does it? Nope. It just kind of creeps up on you. A renewal here, a few new seats there, maybe another tool that does the same thing as one you already have. And before you know it, that bloat is just part of the budget. But what if a totally new kind of AI could stop that creep dead in its tracks?
So, let me ask you a question. Just think about it for a sec. If you had to account for every single dollar of your software budget, like right now, could you really do it? For most companies, the honest answer is probably a little fuzzy. And you know what? There's a very good reason for that. And look, if you feel like you're always chasing down these costs, you are not alone. Your budget is leaking, but it's happening in all these little places you can't easily see. The crucial thing to get here is that this isn't about you not trying hard enough. It's a system problem. And it's something that happens in pretty much every large organization.
And that brings us right to the heart of the problem, what we're calling the sneaky cost creep. This isn't some big one-time event or one bad purchase. It's more like a death by 1,000 cuts. A slow, quiet buildup of little inefficiencies that happen over time, usually flying completely under the radar. But here's the twist, and this is what's so fascinating. The root cause isn't actually just wasteful spending. The real problem, the one underneath everything else, is an information gap. The simple truth is that nobody in the entire organization has the full picture. And this table just lays it out so perfectly. Take a look. You've got finance, and they see the invoices, right? They know what you're paying. Then there's IT, who sees what's deployed, what's actually installed on people's machines. And of course, procurement has all the contracts. But here's the million-dollar question. Who sees how all three of those connect? The answer is nobody. Everyone is trying to solve a puzzle with only a third of the pieces.
So, that information gap, that's exactly why the old ways of trying to manage software just flat out don't work anymore. The traditional approach was always reactive. It was always looking in the rearview mirror.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The old way was all about these static snapshots in time. You'd get a quarterly spreadsheet, or you'd have that frantic last-minute fire drill right before a big contract renewal. It was a constant cycle of high-stress events, not a smooth, continuous process. It's like trying to watch a movie by looking at a single Polaroid picture every 30 minutes. We're living in an age that demands a live video feed.
So, if the old way is broken, what's the fix? Well, it's not about a better spreadsheet. It's about a completely new operating rhythm. One that finally moves us from those outdated snapshots to a continuous loop of intelligence. And the engine that's driving this new rhythm? It's Agentic AI.
Now, when I say Agentic AI, it's really important to be clear what we mean. Forget about your typical chatbot that you just ask questions to. We are talking about an active system. It's an agent that observes what's going on, reasons about how to hit a goal, like, say, cutting waste, and then it actually takes action on its own, all within the safe guardrails that you put in place.
And this is how that engine works. It's this constant four-step loop that's always running. First, it senses. What software do we have? Who's actually using it? What do our contracts say? Then it reasons. Okay, are there idle licenses here? Do we have 3 tools that do the same thing? Next, and this is the magic, it acts. It automatically reclaims an unused license or flags a duplicate for review. And finally, it learns. It tracks the savings and gets smarter for the next time around. That is the live video feed we've been talking about.
Okay, so that all sounds pretty great in theory, right? But what does this actually look like in the real world? How does this AI loop find and, actually eliminate the waste to save you real money?
Well, let's start with the absolute biggest and most common money pit. It's also the simplest, paying for software licenses that nobody is even using. It is the lowest hanging fruit of software overspend, and trust me, it happens everywhere. So check this out. Here's a super typical example. A company is paying for 500 licenses for some application, but because the agentic system is always watching, it sees that over the last 90 days, only 380 of those licenses have actually been touched. That gap you see right there between the 2 bars, that is pure wasted money. So let's be super clear. We're talking about 120 idle licenses. That's not just some number on a slide. That's your budget literally evaporating into thin air every single month for absolutely zero return. And without a continuous system, that waste could just keep going, unnoticed, until the next annual renewal, if it even gets caught then.
And this really highlights the night and day difference between the old way and the new way. In the old way, you might find those 120 idle licenses during that chaotic renewal scramble, right when your negotiating power is at its absolute weakest. But in the new way, that waste gets spotted and dealt with the moment it happens. It turns a reactive scramble into proactive, continuous control. You are always negotiating from a position of strength because you have the data in real time.
But this is about so much more than just clawing back a few dollars on unused licenses. When you adopt this kind of model, you're building a foundation of continuous intelligence that just makes the entire organization faster, smarter, and more efficient.
Now here's a really important point. The AI is an incredible accelerator, but it's not a magic wand. It doesn't replace good old-fashioned human accountability. The teams that really crush it are the ones who pair this tech with smart internal habits. Things like making sure every app has a clear business owner, having a rock-solid policy for what happens to licenses when someone leaves the company, and tracking metrics that everyone, all the way up to leadership, can actually understand.
So if you take just one thing away from all this, let it be this. We're not talking about a one-time cleanup project. The real goal here is a fundamental shift in how you operate. It's about moving away from that frantic, once-a-year panic and into a calm, continuous loop of optimization that's just always running in the background. Which leaves us with one final question for you to think about. When it comes to understanding and controlling one of your company's biggest costs, is your business still running on those old static snapshots? Or have you made the shift to a live, intelligent feed? Because really, that difference is everything.